Wait for it. Wait for it. And we're live. Hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans. It's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. Just a couple of nerdy veterans, a stabby chaos coordinator, and one chief shenanigator geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. We are the podcast that puts the fun in dysfunction. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in. And as they say, we're going to rock and roll with the Ayatollah.
Which one?
The one from the Clint Eastwood movie, of course.
Oh, okay, cool. That works. He's probably still alive.
Have you not seen Heartbreak Ridge?
Oh, yeah.
The Ayatollah of rock and roll?
Ayatollah of rock and roll. You shouldn't let her, faggoty. I love that movie.
That's a good movie. Were you good at Supply? You think we should send you back? That was the most low-key. We got to do that movie as a review.
We really should.
That was the most low-key, like, you suck, stressing down I've seen in film.
Yes. It was fantastic.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. All right. The list keeps getting longer. Aaron has added so many, it's not even funny.
There's a lot of great war movies out there, man.
And he added non-war movies too. In his defense,
I'm just waiting for JR to tell me stop.
Not going to happen.
It's fodder for the mill, buddy. It's grist.
So when we started this podcast, I was legitimately concerned we would reach a point where I would run out of topics. So I started a sheet whenever we came up with ideas, and I had 10. And I'm like, man, what are we going to do? That document is now 47 pages because people keep sending me ideas. And then episodes spawn other episode ideas. I think this podcast will, like, if people want to keep talking, outlive me because the ideas just keep coming.
Sure.
So, of course, at a certain point in time, we'll have to reclass what qualifies as retro because right now we're doing like pre-2000. But at a certain point in time, you know.
I'm looking forward to the show where we discuss the new Lanterns TV series when it comes out. That'll be fun.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about some of the reboots tomorrow on the Reboot Bonanza episode.
Yeah.
Well, technically, that'll air before this one. But anyway. All right, so we're going to let our guests introduce themselves to our listeners and viewers at home. And we've got the one, the only, Aaron of Big Water Outdoors.
Hi, guys. Check out my YouTube if you want to see me catch fish. Other than that, I'm just nerdy and like reading books and talking movies.
Okay, one of your videos, you're around this pylon, which I thought, okay, it's like the leg of a bridge or something, but there are people standing on it in like a gate, like a walkway around it. What the heck is that?
Could you tell
it's
me?
In the wake video where you're fishing near this pylon that's like a building attached to it.
So the one where he was attacked by the seals?
Yeah, where the seals tried to kill him.
Yeah.
There's no. That was the bridge pylon for Coronado Bridge. There's no people on there.
I will get that and clip it and send it to you, and then you will owe me an apology in triplicate.
Ooh.
I don't remember seeing people up there. I've never seen people on there. You're not the first one to bring up, hey, there's someone up there. There shouldn't be anyone up there because technically I wasn't where I'm supposed to be if I'm following the letter of the law. It says in giant words or letters, stay 75 feet away, Coast Guard security area. And I'm 10 feet off of it. But to be fair, it's not 75 feet from pylon to pylon, so I can't be 75 feet from a pylon because then I'd be in the next pylon. But I don't remember seeing any people there. I've seen birds and stuff there, and maybe one of them was moving around. You thought it was a person?
I will get you a thing, and I will send it to you in our Discord so other people can join the discussion because our Discord is.
I want to see
it. We have this. I grew up on the East Coast where everybody and their uncle works for the government, so we have this expression where we call it "good enough for government work."
Right.
And so that does sometimes apply when we're talking units of measure.
Yeah, I've also heard the "can't see it from my house."
That's also true. Although there was that famous Hot Shots movie, I could see my house from here as he ejects.
Loved you in Wall Street.
All right, next we have Mr. Alexander Tamboski, and I probably butchered it. You've told me before, but we're going to pretend I got it right, and then you can say how it's supposed to be said.
Hi, everyone. It's your favorite tanker, Mill Sci-Fi author, Alexander R. Tambasha. And always remember how last name. Give the Tambasha. Forget my name. You can. I'm the author of the ODAT series and the Imperial Privateer series. You can find my works on millsci-fi.author.com, or I also post on Imperial Information Network on YouTube, documentaries and little shorts about my universe and books. So glad to be here, JR, and I think we have an amazing topic for tonight.
Absolutely. Next, we have Mr. Andrew Milbourne, new guest of the show, an author as well. We're going to have you back to talk about your own stuff on a dedicated episode, because that's just how we rock and roll here.
Thank you. Hi, Andrew Milbourne, proposal writer by day, fiction author by night. I have technically 9 short stories in print right now. And I apologize for my voice. I'm coming off the tail end of a cold, but I write science fiction, fantasy, hard-boiled crime, whatever gets my muse spun up.
Ooh.
So I'm very happy to be here.
Apparently, when he says proposal writer, it's not like for Good Time Call.
See, I was about to ask him how many times he'd been married, but I thought that might be a little too much.
No. Unfortunately, not that kind of proposal writing.
Because I reached out and it was awkward, and he was like, cease and desist, never talk to me again. We had to get special court permission to have him on the show.
How many times? If I had a nickel for every time you got dragged in the court over that, God.
Yeah, when we got back from Iraq, we went to the O Club, which was kind of pissed because I just made sergeant right before we deployed, and I get back and I'm like, yes, I'm going to hit the NCO Club, and they changed the rules to let anybody in there, and I'm like, well, hell, that sucks. But while we were there, I got really inebriated because I thought my capability to consume matched what it was before I left, and not after a year, completely sober in a desert where it was not
fully recovered by then.
Right. And so so I was really happy, and I was proposing to everybody. And my buddy was like, what are you going to do if they all say yes one day? You're screwed because you're going to jail.
Not even sure that's a crime anymore. That could be wrong. Andrew, what kind of proposals do you write? Are they grant proposals?
Contract proposals, responding to RFPs.
Okay. All right.
I'm currently in the healthcare staffing industry, but I've bounced around a couple different places.
I work at St. Jude during the day, and we have a lot of grant writers, proposal writers. So
for a second, you said I bounce around couples, and I was about to ask about that proposal writing again, but then you clarified. So
a couple different places.
Quit trying to make it dirty.
Sorry, between my voice and my microphone. Yeah.
No, it actually adds to the ambiance. I'm digging it. Keep it up. If that's not the same all the time, you should just fake it.
JR just used ambiance in a sentence. We're doomed.
Yes, and then next time you come on after this, you need to have a pineapple, like Aaron says, somewhere on your screen.
There's a reference there that I think I'm missing, and I'm not sure I want to get.
I'll tell you when you're older. All right, last but certainly not least, we got the one, the only, the voice in your head, the crazy man on every street corner, Mr. Michael LaVoice.
Hey, I hung up my world is ending sign because I think it already ended. Yeah, I'm Michael LaVoice, sci-fi fantasy author, a.k.a. LaVoice in Your Head, author of the Galaxy's Most Wanted series, Gladius League series, and a plethora of short stories scattered across anthologies hither and yon. I have a YouTube channel here called LaVoice in Your Head where I talk about pop culture and all things geeky.
Yeah, it's he's not perfect, but we like him anyway. And have you ever noticed these doomsday cultist types, the world is ending, when they get close to the appointed day where their theory says the world is supposed to end, they never really believe it because they won't give me their stuff.
They won't give their stuff away. It's like the world population control guys won't off themselves first. You ever notice that? They want to start with you, way happy to start with you, but they're going to stick around.
When the Mayan calendar was supposed to end and it was like the end of the world, they were out there protesting near my job at the time. And I walked out and I'm like, if the world is ending, can I have your money and your credit card? Because I don't think it's going to end. So I want to go have a party tomorrow, but you'll be dead. So it's okay. They would not give me their wallets for some reason.
It's weird how that works.
It's strange. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, we do have to do the religion question. The one, the only, the most important of all religion questions. So we are no longer knuckle dragging troglodytes here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. We are civilized human beings. So coffee or tea, and how do you take it? Aaron, have you changed it up? Are you going to tell me you drink Kraken and Coke or something?
I have had Kraken and Dr. Pepper in the past, but actually right now I'm drinking Henry Weinhardt's orange cream soda.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, it does
It
sound
is.
good.
All right. What about you, Alex?
Normally, I'm a coffee fan, but right now I am drinking some Tanker Jack because of we're talking about a very good tanker movie.
Okay.
Well, it's got
what-
a tank in it. I don't know if it qualifies as a tanker movie.
Hey, oddball, man. Oddball.
We'll allow it.
Proto
Won't
hippie.
be hitting me
oddball.
with them negative waves.
That's right.
Yeah. You and the negative waves, man.
All right, Andrew, coffee or tea, and how do you take it?
Well, unfortunately, I love coffee, but coffee hates me, so I am forced to be a tea drinker. Usually,
wait.
usually a
Embrace-
green tea. Sorry, come again?
I was going to say just embrace the toxicity and embrace the toxic relationship and drink the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fancy reenacting the chest burster scene from Aliens, so no, I gotta stick with the tea. So how I take it, usually a green tea blend with a little honey mixed in, but tonight we've got lemon and ginger with honey.
A little extreme, but okay.
All right, LaVoice.
Well, I'm coffee as black as my soul pretty much all the time, but it's getting warmer, so I've kind of switched over to the zero sugar Mountain Dew.
No
So-
Baja Blast.
Not tonight. They were out when I went and got my latest case of it. So
All right, now this was not prepped, so I give you guys no chance to prepare. But since this is a movie that has a tank in it, so some people might call it a tanker movie, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite tank? And since you were a tanker, Alex, you get to answer first while they all think about it.
Ooh, well, to put some context here, I became a tanker when the first M1 came out, and I came out with the M1A when the M1A3 came on production, and out of all the tanks I've served on in between, the M1A2 SEP V2 is my personal favorite tank.
Okay. Aaron?
Give me 1 second to get the right name. Go to LaVoice.
LaVoice.
this one,
I can't see. Hold on. Let's see if I can put you on full screen.
That's an Abrams.
Like
this
an
is the one
Abrams.
that almost killed me.
Okay.
I was in a bunker in.
There you go. Show it one more time.
There you go.
I had to figure out where they move the buttons.
Yeah, I was in a bunker in Saudi, and the tankers saw our missiles because I was in an air defense artillery unit, and they saw our missiles, and they decided to drive up to the site to get a closer look at the missiles. And I was asleep. I mean, I was doing back of my eyelid PMCS in the bunker, and the next thing I know, I hear this massive rumbling sound, and my bunker starts shaking, and I wake up, and there's a chem light hanging from the end of the friggin' gun, like inches from my face. So a couple of short changes later, we told them to please get their tank away from our attack site. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to go with one that's used in the Indiana Jones. Well, it was inspired by the tank in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. But the British Mark 8 Liberty tank from World War One is pretty cool.
Ooh.
I like the World War the Renault, which is also a cool boxy looking tank from World War One, which was the French. It's one of the cool things France did. They didn't do a lot of cool stuff other than surrender, but the Renault tank was pretty cool. It was
They
the
didn't
first
do much, but that was
tank
cool.
with the turret on tops and the tracks all around. So basically, they invented the tank layout as we understand it. The post World War II Centurion by the Brits is also pretty cool. Although I guess I'm supposed to say something American, so I don't know, something Abrams.
You could go with
Could have said Sherman.
Well, I liked the Booker that was supposed to be a replacement because it had a cool look to it, kind of modern and retro at the same time, but they didn't last very long. The Booker tank, so
Yeah.
What was the
Remember-
tank in Fury?
Was that a Sherman?
That was an
That was a
M4A1
Sherman.
Sherman.
Okay.
Yeah, but it had the bigger barrel on it, right?
I'm trying to remember what
that's the A1. The
There was an
A1
old-
upgraded it.
there was no World War II comic called The Haunted Tank. And I can't remember the make and model of the tank that they drove. But the tank was haunted by the ghost of Jeb Stuart, and one of his descendants was the tank commander. And
Oh, nice.
in one issue, their tank was damaged. They got temporarily displaced and put into a Sherman. And the ghost of Jeb Stuart left them because he would not associate with a Sherman tank.
Okay.
So in the movie Fury, it was the M4A3E8 Sherman, commonly referred to as the Easy 8 with a 76 millimeter gun.
Yep.
So it was the newest thing at the time.
And it had the HVSS suspension, which was a lot better than the normal suspension.
Yes. So, all right.
A diesel engine.
What do you think, Andrew? Favorite tank?
Real world tank, I got to go with the Abrams. Fictional tank, toss up between the AAT from the Star Wars prequels and the Clone Wars, or the oddball special Sherman tank.
Okay, I just looked it up. The haunted tank was actually a light M3 Stuart tank. No wonder Jeb Stuart haunted it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that was a comic, but it was never anything else?
It was a comic. They made appearances in several different World War II. I did a video all about World War II comics. They did appearances in several different World War II comics and ended up being regulars in the pages of Sergeant Rock.
Interesting. I'm not much on comics, but I'd read the hell out of that as a book.
Yeah, I would too. Really, I wish somebody would novelize it. It was pretty cool.
Anybody else got any honorable mentions they want to throw in before we play the commercials?
My tank, I sent you a picture of it. It never actually saw combat because they only built 2 of them. But the T-28 super heavy tank, it had it was a turtle tank, which we didn't have a whole lot of. It has a 105 millimeter main gun. It weighs 95 tons. It's 36 feet long by 14 feet wide, 9 feet tall, and it had crew of 4. 12 inches of armor. It had double tracks.
All right, that sounds interesting. I'm throwing the picture up for everybody. Nope, not that picture.
I'm about to say that's the German tank. What are you doing?
Yep.
That's kind of cool looking.
Yeah, I think honorable mention too. We have to at least mention the Patton tank. You know, you can't talk about World War II and tanks without the man himself and the tank they named after him.
That's fair.
Old blood and guts himself.
Oh, and then the tanks that they retrofitted for Normandy that they made like amphibious tanks. Not a lot of them ended up at the bottom of the water, but the concept was kind of cool. If you've seen any of the videos of them with the snorkel and all the cool stuff, and that was just a bunch of redneck farm boys were like, I bet we could do this thing. Let's try it. And that's a delicious idea was born. All right, so I want to get in talking about this movie, so I'm going to play this beautiful commercial, and then from there we will rock and roll on to talking about this episode. So first, play that beautiful beat footage. 100 tons of steel and more firepower than the devil himself. They should be invincible, but armored combat is brutal and mistakes are fatal. Within, mech jockeys and treadheads take on the world one powerful blast at a time, risking it all for duty, fame, and glory. But deep down, they fear a savage contradiction. Armor can be your salvation. It can also be your worst nightmare. Which will hold true? Climb into the commander's hatch and find out. Buy a copy of this amazing anthology today. You deserve answers. All right, so clearly the movie trailer voice guy is not out of work yet, at least not from me. But
in a world full of tanks.
Yeah, and I thought about hiring you, but you got things like jobs and kids and family and a wife that wants your time, and so many details get in the way.
I'm in anytime.
All right, so title of the movie we're here to talk about today is Kelly's Heroes. Its original movie rating was GP for general audiences, parental guidance suggested, which was from the MPAA rating system. This was before the modern PG rating was introduced in 1972. So this was the rating before we have what we understand as ratings today. So it's originally GP, now it's PG. Generally the same thing, it's just more standardized across the board. It was directed by Brian G. Hutton. For a budget cost of $4 million, it brought in $10.2 million in the box office with a duration of 146 minutes. It was released on June 23rd, 1970 by Metro Goldwyn Mayer Studios. So that is some cool, fun stuff. The primary ad copy and taglines for Kelly's Heroes come from its original theatrical marketing, the posters and the promotional materials. So one was never have so few taken so much for so taking so. Let me try that again. Never have so few taken so many for so much. Next was To Them War was a lot of fun and games, and what a hell of a game it was. And then finally it was all they wanted to do was get in, get rich, and get out. I think the third one was my favorite, but it was also the easiest to say, these stupid tongue twisters.
I like that second one. That's fun.
To Them War was a lot of fun and games, and what a hell of a game it was.
Oh no, I thought the one about taking so many or taking so much.
The first one was never have so few taken so
The first
many or so much.
That one, I like that one. That's fun.
Yeah. All right. So is everybody cool with the with that as far as ad copy goes? I thought it did an okay job.
Mhm. Yeah, I like it.
Anybody got anything they want to add about that? All right, then I'm going to show the trailer for this movie, and we're going to talk about what we think about it. So.
Kelly! What the hell are you doing here?
Looking after the colonel, that's what.
Shoot him and let's get the hell out of here.
Shoot him, we don't get the gold.
What gold?
Proposition. Thought you might be interested in helping me out.
Oh.
I want you to set up a barrage for me.
Yeah.
If you whisper one word about the gold to these guys, I'm gonna have you bounce from this outfit so fast your feet won't even touch the ground.
Okay, Kelly. What is it? I want the intelligence report for this whole sector, and I need him in the next 2 hours.
That's nice. What's in it for me?
It's behind enemy lines.
I got 3 Shermans outside.
His name's Oddball.
A Sherman can give you a very nice edge. These are my boys. It's still up. No, it ain't.
Look, baby, I'm kind of hung up. I need about 60 feet of bridge.
Listen, kid, they haven't got your back in a nut ward again, have they?
I don't need you. 60 feet of bridge I can pick up almost anywhere. Schmuck.
All right. I need at least 100 guys. Where do I find 100 men just like that?
Last all better show up, Kelly.
Come on, let's move it up.
But my hair is still in curls.
Oh, sure, get out. What should we get with this thing?
Hey, nobody said anything about schlepping his 30 caliber machine gun all over the country.
I'll make you $50 if you carry the machine gun, huh?
Fire! Fire! I thought you said 3 Shermans. Those nuts have brought half the army with them.
What is this? Oh, what is this, a ball game? Who are these guys?
My friends, okay?
And who's that bunch of refugees over there?
The band.
The band? What do we need a band for?
Come on, little face. Stop getting that beautiful people.
You see, we're just a private enterprise operation.
Those freaks! That ain't an army, it's a circus!
It could be the perfect crime.
All righty. So first, the bar. set the mood. I would like to just start with the fact that we introduced this movie with a suggestion of a gentle war crime. Just shoot the prisoner. Geneva, never heard of her.
It's only a war crime the second time.
Did anybody else catch that? Did anybody else catch that in the commercial when you watched it the first time?
It's only a war crime if you leave witnesses.
That's a good point.
It's a good point.
I
It
thought it
never
was only
happened.
a war crime if you're Canadian, because they get caught doing it a lot.
I also really liked, we didn't talk about tanks because it's technically not one, but the M3 half track that you see prominently in that was pretty cool. I don't know what the gun on top of it was, but it just looked cool.
How cool is it, though, that you got Telly Savalas and Donald Sutherland back together again for this movie after one of the last ones we watched, where Savalas was an absolute psycho and Sutherland was just a half-wit. These are much better characters for these guys to play.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so good. And when you throw Don Rickles in the mix, oh my gosh. Don,
To answer your question, JR, the gun on a M3 GMC is a 75 millimeter gun.
Okay.
what's that in real measurements?
I don't know. Let me go convert it to freedom units.
Okay.
All right. So everybody cool with the trailer? Would it make you want to watch the movie?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
It would be
Absolutely.
a 3-inch gun.
Okay, 3-inch gun. Gotcha.
One of the things that surprised me is when I was, doing some prep work, I happened to have lunch with family members and like sisters and cousins that I would never have pegged to watch war movies. Like, oh, Kelly's Heroes is a good one. I like that one. So it kind of shocked me at the wide appeal.
People like war comedies. They don't like a lot of people. Your big wide audience. I don't think the appeal for war drama is there as much as there is for war comedy. Look at the popularity of MASH. That was one of the most hideously popular TV shows of all time, in one of the most brutal conflicts that we've ever fought. And good Lord, it's popular. It's so popular they're rebooting it.
I did not know that they were doing a MASH reboot.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be set at Korea again, or?
I know it's like the original. I don't know if it's a TV show or a movie, but it's being rebooted. Patrick Warburton is playing the spook.
I know there was a series that they did set in Iraq about MASH units. It was docudrama kind of vibe, but I didn't know they were rebooting MASH. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. The 4077th is coming back.
We will talk about that in the Reboot Bonanza episode you'll be on tomorrow. But everyone else is cool with the trailer and make you want to watch it, other than the gentle war crime.
The trailer would make me want to watch it. I think a lot of movies have this problem where it gives away too much of the movie. Like, I don't think it needed to show us the actors like Don Rickles, Sutherland, and then at the end give us like a tagline from their character as well. Like, we already saw they're in it. Like, we don't need Sutherland going wolf, wolf, wolf. Like, leave that for the movie. Like, I don't think that extra bit was extra needed.
I think Hollywood's relationship with culture was different in the 70s, and so it was very cult of personality driven. As
Also,
opposed
yeah,
to,
you this was the movie star age. We don't have that right now. It used to be you went to see the Schwarzenegger flick or the Clint Eastwood flick. Okay, that whatever it was, that's who you went to see. Now we've got IPs. We're going to see the Star Wars flick or the Marvel flick or the DC flick. There's a huge difference there. Okay. The actors become interchangeable scenery, set pieces almost. But back then, you went with that cast. Holy crap. You could not get away with a trailer without mentioning at least those guys.
No, I'm fine with like mentioning them in the beginning. At the end,
you got to give them a little. You got to give them a little blurb in the trailer.
Well, the reason they mentioned it twice is it's the bookend principle. The show them, like sell them, and then show the meat, and then sell them again with the outro, which is why it was organized that way. It's a marketing technique. Somebody who's better at marketing could explain the psychology of why it works. I just know that it does, which is why you
tell me that it works is enough for me.
But yeah, so I thought that the trailer was good. Now we're gonna look at some of these movie posters.
Cool.
So this was one of the originals movie posters. As you can see, it's got the very 70s vibe to the colors. It's the red and the yellow, and then folks in the tank, which it's kind of cool. What's
what year
everyone?
did this come out?
1970 exactly.
1970. So only like 3 or so years after the Dirty Dozen, and the colors are still almost the same. I remember the movie poster from the Dirty Dozen we looked at, and it had a lot of these same, like the yellows and the oranges.
Yeah,
it was just kind of like that.
Well, so here's the other one that was contemporary to it. This was the other. This was when they're focusing on it was 70 millimeter and full stereophonic sound, which I don't know what the hell that means, but it's a thing. But supposedly, I guess the audio recording for this movie when it was in the theaters was like top of the line at the time. So these were the two. This one and this one were contemporary. Would they make you want to?
70 millimeter, was that like the IMAX of its day or something?
I guess. Would they make you want to see the movie? I mean, I definitely think the Harken to the Action. It gets
I like
me.
this one because it's got the planes and the tank and the shooting the guns and then of course underneath the title you've got basically the gist of it. So it's not just a war movie, and that tagline there all is really humorous. So it tells me it's a comedy as well. So
they set out to rob a bank and damn near won a war instead. Yeah. I remember noticing that. And of course that comedic general who reminds me of the general from the movie about the A-bomb. Oh, I'm drawing a blank.
General
Strangelove?
Strangelove, yeah. Strangelove.
Yeah.
He reminded me of the general from Strangelove.
What, Slim Pickens?
Yeah,
C. Scott.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on the character's name, but
and then of
Scott,
course
right?
This is the new cover for it if you bought the DVD now.
Yeah, I have that in my Clint Eastwood collection set of DVDs.
Yeah, and I like. I mean, it's not a bad picture, but it's not as evocative as what we get from these.
It's really not. It focuses more on on just their faces and not on the action. I much prefer this.
Yeah, because you see the bridge going out, you see the planes dropping bombs.
Yeah.
I'm digging this one, and I also like that. We'll talk about that when we get to the movie. Is the posters would they have made you guys want to see the movie?
Yeah.
Old ones,
the first one.
It's four guys in their tank. Their pet.
Well, that wasn't their tank though. That was the German tank.
No, the last one was the American tank.
The last one. Oh, you mean the DVD?
Yeah, the
cover?
modern one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one,
it's four guys in their pet Sherman.
As a '90s kid, that would have still made me go watch it because it's got a United States tank on it set in World War II. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
All right. So with that out of the way, okay. So everyone's cool with that. With the summary and the trailer. All right. So what did you think of the characters?
I love Oddball.
He was definitely.
Even though he almost got me fired once, I love him.
Oh, this is a story we need to hear.
Okay, so the short version was first job out of college was working in a supermarket deli. And we had this one assistant manager who was the kind of person who you point out the silver lining and she would immediately start, pointing out every single cloud in the sky. Just the kind of person who happiness and joy are foreign concepts and she cannot allow anyone else to feel those emotions either. So I got sick of it.
Prototype Karen, Lord.
This went on for weeks. Her name was Sue. So one day I finally snapped and I said, Sue, if you don't stop it with this constant, negative Nancy Debbie Downer nonsense, I'm going to do my Oddball impression. It's not very good. You won't like it. I don't want to do it, but I swear, if you don't knock this off, I'm going to start doing it. So she went on and I just said, oh, Sue, don't be hitting me with them negative waves so early in the shift. And every time from that, she got so pissed off. But every time when she would start that, I would just start doing Oddball. Oh, there you go again with them negative waves, Sue. Hey, Sue, why don't you knock it off with them negative waves? I can't do it. My voice is all messed up.
Did you ever get to the point where you just started barking at her?
I never did that. I never did that. But looking back, it's a miracle I did not get written up or get fired.
If you barked at her, you probably would have.
Yes.
He called me a dog. That's not what I was doing. No.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
So, but I will say, Oddball was a weird one for me because he was very obviously a hippie, but hippies
Well, he's
didn't
a
exist
proto
yet.
hippie because it's
Proto
the
beatnik.
40s.
But no, the beatniks were what, the 20s, right?
No. Beatniks are post 20s. 20s was the flappers. Prohibition era.
Well, flappers were the girls.
Yeah, but the
They were
beatniks
the
weren't.
50s, weren't
that
they?
wasn't. Yeah, that was more of a 50s thing,
50s
not a 20s thing.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. But so Oddball was a weird one for me. He's very obviously a product of the time the movie was made and not the time it was set. The term beatnik came from 1948. Yep. So it was the 50s. Okay. I stand corrected.
I liked him as a character. He was funny.
Oh, I liked him, but he was just like it very clearly showed this wasn't a serious war movie because we're mixing eras. Which, also you see like the fact that the body count for that operation was relatively speaking so low was because they didn't want to focus on the real life like war stuff. It was the fun adventure.
Right, like Dirty Dozen. Everybody dies. This not so much.
Yeah. And
Three
so
guys die, and then Oddball and the band come over the hill playing, what was it, Battle Hymn of the Republic?
yeah.
Yep.
The
Why do we need a band? Don Rickles.
Come on, they're beautiful people.
I liked he gave a lot of good one-liners. As far as characters though, Crapshoot. No, was it Crapshoot or
Crap Game?
Crap game.
Crap Game. He's the one everyone loved to hate, but like none of this works if he's not there.
Oh yeah, because he's supply, right? Wasn't he?
He's
gotta have a guy
not only
on
supply,
supply.
he's a scrounger.
Yeah.
He's the epitome of what makes a unit function in the field. And
Yeah.
that Don Rickles captured that role so perfectly. I mean, when I was deployed and we had a supply NCO, if I took him and compared him to Don Rickles' character, you would not be able to tell the difference.
So I don't know. For me, it was always the E4 Mafia, or the Lance Corporal Underground that would make stuff happen. Not so much supply; they were a little too stuffy and too hidebound by the rules. But the concept of a scrounger is eternal.
Our E4 Mafia and Charlie Hawk was in the employ of the supply sergeant, so they made a lot of things happen for him.
She did not want to be in the war zone, so she hid from all duties related to said war zone, and so she spent her war at the MWR. So
okay.
But hey, somebody had to make sure that soda machine never ran out of product.
We didn't have all that infrastructure back in my day when I was
That's because
here.
you had sticks and stones, and I'm just saying, we really appreciate that you took down Goliath for us.
We drove the trucks with our feet.
Absolutely. So okay, so
illiterate. What is MWR?
Morale, welfare, and recreation. So like the people so they're like the people that provide the games, the phone calls, that kind of thing. So other than Oddball, like the one of the ones that got me was the first sergeant that was in charge of the guns. Somehow Clint Eastwood's character shows up and he's like pissing himself, like, "Oh, see here, what happened was." That scene struck me as amusing. The mortar guy.
Mulligan.
Yeah.
Mulligan.
He can't
An
hit
appropriate name if ever there was one.
Yes.
Little too on the nose, but yeah, I like that. But they couldn't hit anything. Like they were constantly bombing their own men.
Prototype stormtroopers. I mean,
but I mean, that's, friendly fire did happen, and the fact that they didn't ignore it, they leaned into it for comedic effect, I thought was interesting. So I don't know.
If you've ever been involved in a friendly fire incident, maybe it's not so funny. But
there's actually a movement now because of some of those incidences. There was a huge in the early Iraq War, blue on blue incident where two Marine artillery or tank units fought each other, and so there's a push because of that to get people that are wounded, not obviously through self-inflicted, but if you're wounded by friendly fire, you should still qualify for the Purple Heart.
Oh yeah, and there was the whole you had a Ranger unit attack a regular infantry unit at the same airbase
Yep. No. To answer your question, Aaron, no. If you get wounded by our side on accident, it doesn't count as a Purple Heart. It has to be enemy action.
That's messed up.
And they're trying to fix it because of that. But yeah, so I like the mortar.
No, their rationale was always something stupid like, well, we have guys shooting themselves just to get a Purple Heart. Please.
That crap hurts. I don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't shoot myself.
I'm not shooting myself to get a Purple Heart, you moron.
But so I like the mortars guy.
I can honestly say, because I've been shot, it is not a very pleasant experience. And I do not recommend, for shits and giggles to experience it yourself. I give it 1 star. So
I take your word.
I was shot twice, and I concur. It is 0 stars out of 10. I played baseball rules because I'm an American, so I did not try for a 3rd strike at the bat, and I did not get shot a 3rd time. I do not recommend it. The flip side is, because it hit me in the chest, so my SAPI plate absorbed it, all I got was a cracked ribs, but I can predict the weather now.
Nice.
But unfortunately, because it's in your chest, because it's in my chest, every time I do and I grab my chest because I feel the weather change, everyone's like, oh my God, he's having a heart attack. I'm like, it's not a heart attack.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
That's what happened to me. Is I got shot in the chest too, and before this happened, I had in my mind, I'm wearing a bulletproof vest. It's like the movies, you get shot, But then I realized the cruel law of physics that yes, the bullet, not the kinetic energy that the bullet has.
Right.
Absolutely. All right. So one of the things, character-wise, what did you guys think of the some of the supporting characters? Like, you had that one general, was it Big John, I think his name was?
Was that Carol O'Connor's character?
The fat guy that shows up, I brought a box of medals. You get a medal. You get a medal. He was like Oprah before Oprah was Oprah.
General
His character was
I've
funny,
had bosses like that.
I didn't like him.
I thought he was, and the fact that he was the uncle of the company commander of these guys in this reconnaissance unit was kind of humorous. And that was the other part of that. The captain, who is his nephew, just casually stealing a yacht from a local Frenchman.
Don't forget, that fall under penalty for looting his debt while his yacht is getting trucked back to Paris.
I caught the irony of that too. It's only looting when we do it.
Yeah, that was Carol O'Connor, General Colt. Yeah, Archie Bunker.
I've had bosses like that. Ugh.
I dig that he was so into himself that even his red bathrobe has general stars on the shoulder.
Yes,
I saw that. It took me a minute to realize
that made me laugh.
It was a bathrobe. I was like, why is he wearing a red jacket with stars on it? He's Army. He's not Marine. He shouldn't be wearing red. And then I realized it was a bathrobe. I was like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah, it kind of made me want to get a bathrobe and put my sergeant stripes on it just so I could be that cool. But yeah, that was a funny character. I know he wasn't the most important, but like here you've got all these, these colonels and majors in his staff trying to get stuff done and nothing's happening. And this one dude who just wants to rob a bank suddenly like creates the breakthrough they've been, after forever long. Which, it's
Did anybody recognize the future commander of the Love Boat?
No.
Gavin McLeod. He was there. He played a character named Moriarty.
Oh,
Moriarty, was that the radio guy?
No, that was the genius engineer.
Yep.
The naysayer who oddball was always
with the
going
negative
up.
vibes.
There you go again with the negative waves, Moriarty. See what sending out them negative waves did after the bridge gets taken.
All
you got to do the rest of the podcast in oddball.
It's killing my throat, man. I wish I could.
Yeah,
it's killing my throat.
I like a lot of the supporting characters, to include the guy that was like, oh, bring me the bridge. And then they didn't wait for him and they're like rushing to get through. And then as soon as they realized the general's there, it was like, oh crap, we lost our money. But they got a medal, so
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but the
Bellamy. That was
radio
Len Lesser.
Len Lesser.
He was on Everybody Loves Raymond, I think. He was
what?
I could see it.
As a regular?
I never watched the show, but I looked him up.
I used to watch
name
it a
was
lot.
Garvin.
Maybe I don't remember him being on the show. I can't believe Harry Dean Stanton was in this. I did not remember him.
Well, this movie is old enough, by the way, that it was filmed in a country that doesn't exist anymore, Yugoslavia.
Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like. Well, okay, so let's talk about the opening real because it sets the characters in the reconnaissance company. They're just casually driving their U.S. Jeep, and I'm like, oh, cool, they're stuck in the rain. And then I realized, wait, those little neck things, that's a German MP thing. Like, how do the Germans not realize an American tank, or I mean, American Humvee is just, well, no, it would have been a Jeep. It's just driving, lottie-dottie, everybody at the potty, straight through their line, and nobody even flinches. Like that, it's so distinct from their own vehicles, it would have stood out like a sore thumb.
I can actually answer that.
Okay.
Because German officers would requisition American Jeeps and other captured vehicles because they were more reliable than the German vehicles.
Oh, did not know that.
Because the MP saw that the German colonel was in the passenger seat, didn't think anything of it. It was only when he stopped and was like, wait, the driver has the wrong uniform, that he realized something was up.
Okay, that's if you didn't know that scene was a little bit funny.
Well, it was still hysterical, but refuge and audacity rooted in reality.
I mean, that tracks. We liberate equipment all the time.
Well, and I think that's pretty good when you say reality, because as a small historical point of the movie itself is that the movie's actually based on a real theft that actually happened, which has been gone down in the history books. I just want to make sure I say it exactly right, as the greatest robbery on record, where gold was actually stolen from the Nazis during the war, and nobody know who stole it. They thought it was the mafia. They thought it was this people. No one knows. And the brilliance of the writing to say, well, what if it was Americans and they made this movie based on what little information they had? I think was a brilliant. This is a brilliant work of art. The way they did it. It is. The dialogue is amazing. The character, not only the characters, but I think what I like, it was like they had strong characters, but they also got the perfect actor for that character. Like, I was with my tanker buddies and we did a what if. Like, well, what if they didn't choose Donald Sutherland? Who else could it be? And you just can't think of anyone but Donald
Sutherland. I can't think of anybody else that could have pulled that off in that era.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Or Don Rickles as the supply guy.
Exactly.
Or, Clint Eastwood, he could have been, but
Clint Eastwood,
Charles Bronson could have done it, but
Bronson could have done it.
Wouldn't have worked quite as well.
Bronson doesn't have the comedy chops that Eastwood does.
No.
The other one was the character Cowboy was played by Jeff Morris, who was also in the Blues Brothers, if you're familiar with that property. So there were some big names in here.
Cowboy, the radio operator in the Jeep?
Yeah,
I like that character. He was funny.
And then Barbara, because that reminds me of Francis from Stripes. It's not Barbara, it's Barbarossa, or whatever the hell he was trying to say. And I couldn't understand him because they gave him that really high-pitched voice, so you still just heard Barbara, but he's like trying to pronounce it differently.
If you remake the movie, you cast Joe Pesci as him.
They were calling him Barbara, but his name was Babra.
Oh, Babra.
They called him Barbara, and it was Babra. Yeah.
Okay, that works. That also had, if I remember correctly, wasn't Telly Savalas in this one? The same guy that was
Yes.
He doesn't.
He was
the master second.
Yeah.
He wasn't a lunatic this time.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about the whole movie is that the people in on it just keeps growing and growing as the movie.
Oh, Sutherland was in the Dirty Dozen with him too, so that's 3.
Yeah.
Sutherland was the impersonated the general to do the.
And if you're wondering why we're harping on that, because literally within a week of filming this one, we filmed the Dirty Dozen one, obviously, and so you'll have watched that already when this airs. But just seeing the cross, I guess that makes sense back then, right? Like, because it was so star driven, you end up seeing a lot of people that cross acted in a lot of different properties together.
Yeah, the whole studio system was different then. You had actors who were assigned to studios via contract. It wasn't, you were contracted to MGM to do a certain number of pictures, a certain number of Westerns, a certain number of war flicks, certain number. And when you weren't shooting, you were training. You were learning how to ride horses. You were learning how to, run and shoot and all that kind of stuff. Vastly different system than what we have today. And the weird thing is you have more celebrity power, if that's even a thing today, than you did back then, but you're not beholden to any one studio. You can just go wherever and you do it picture by picture.
If I remember right from last week, MGM was also the producer for Dirty Dozen, so it's the same production company.
Yeah, and they were all under contract. I'm surprised Bronson wasn't in this somewhere.
So for you guys, since we're all kind of all over the place, but there were so many actors in the scope of this show. Were there any standout secondary characters for you? And while you guys think about it, I'll give my favorite was Carl Otto Alberto or Alberti, something like that. He was the German tank commander who was actually born under the Nazi regime. He's born in 1933, so he would have been 10 when the war was going on. And that's the other thing, because of when this was filmed, so many of these actors would have actually potentially fought in the war and or fought the people whose uniform they were wearing for the sake of the movie.
Well, majority of the people in the movie were real soldiers. Telly Savalas, Clint Eastwood, Don Rickles. They all served in military. So I don't remember if they served in the tail end of World War II or Korea, but they were veterans. So I think that's what made them doing those characters feel so real. They did the job.
I do have to wonder because if they felt the same, so not about 6 months ago, someone pointed out to me that there are Iraq war reenactors from the second war, not the first one in the 90s, but like the one I fought in, so early 2000s. There are Japanese kids that are reenacting that war with the old equipment in air quotes that I used in the war. I wonder if these actors filming these World War II movies had that same, like, holy crap, how is this old enough that they're making, like, reenacting it kind of vibe? I wonder if these actors felt that same oddity of watching other people play dress up in their war.
Yeah.
I don't know, because weren't they reenacting this while it was happening at the same time? Because Longest Day with John Wayne, that came out during the war, didn't it?
Well, I'm not talking about the war one. I'm talking about the stuff that was filmed after by the veterans.
Longest Day came out in the 50s or the 60s. Let me see.
No, it was black and white. I want to say it was 40s because I could have sworn I looked it up the other week.
The thing about Eastwood that's really cool is
1962.
There you go. We almost didn't get Eastwood as an actor because he almost died in a plane crash during his service in the Korean War. He was flying. I forget where they were taking him. They were taking him somewhere, but the plane, wasn't even in Korea. They crashed out at sea off the coast of California. He had to swim, in the dark, and he had to swim back and almost didn't make it. It was just insane.
And this movie made the same Hollywood decision that they used in the Dirty Dozen, which instead of having the Thompson, which is what was issued more often than not, you ended up with the MP40 submachine guns, which are commonly called the grease guns.
Grease gun, yeah, they're sexier.
Who did I accidentally boot? Are we missing anybody?
Yeah, we lost the tanker.
Yeah, we lost Colonel. Okay, I did not boot him on accident. I thought I hit a button. I'm like, wait, did I kick him out? It wasn't me. It was his internet. I will link his social media if he can't make it back. If something happens, we'll link
what you said, JR. Right? Sure. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
There we go. But yeah, it was kind of the same decision, and I think it really comes down to the grease gun just has a cool vibe to it, whereas the submachine gun, the Thompson, kind of looks 1920s aesthetic.
It looks gangster because it was the weapon of choice for the Prohibition era mafia guys. And
but we had the same.
You think Elliot Ness, but I always associate it with Sergeant Rock because that's what he carried.
We did notice though that they had the 70s classic Hollywood ammo that will never run out because
right,
these guys had zero fire discipline. They're just spraying and praying like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah,
and they never reloaded. Well, they reloaded, but they never seemed to run out of ammo.
At least it wasn't as bad as like an 18 episode because people actually got shot in this, and A-Team fired the same number of bullets, but nobody ever got shot.
I thought that's a Star Wars movie.
So we talked about the characters kind of all over the place, but there were so many great character actors in this movie. I mean, we could spend hours just analyzing the characters.
But for me, it was Don Rickles. Between Don Rickles and Donald Sutherland, my two favorite characters, man. Just
Oddball is,
outstanding.
I mean, he's almost the kind of character you need to reappraise in other, not him specifically, because, you know, stealing and all that, but we kind of need that kind of character archetype brought into other books because it's just so fun.
Right.
All right. So what did you guys think overall of the plot? You know, let's go steal this money.
Everybody talk at once now.
I enjoyed the heist aspect. It kind of, it was Three Kings before the movie Three Kings was out, which was the same kind of heist concept.
I wondered about whether Three Kings was inspired by this at all. Was that based on a true story? Was Three Kings based on a actual events, or was it just?
I honestly don't know, but I liked the heist in a war zone setting. Was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, because here these guys are over there. They're getting paid diddly squat. They're living on sea rats and living in their tanks or living in tents or whatever, and they're feeling a little put upon.
And they're on the tip of the spear until it's time to actually go liberate a town and get some R&R, and they're pulled back.
And then they get pulled back, and then nobody appreciates them, and I think, you know what?
No booze, no broads.
I want to get a little bit of something from me. Yeah, I can see that.
I like the plot.
Yeah, and they had a CO that was so checked out of the war and them that he was next to useless.
Oh yeah, but we've never known anybody like that.
Oh no, not at all.
Well,
like my commander that never left the track after we got issued ammo.
So the movie Three Kings is loosely based on films like The Heist of Sierra Madre from '48 and echoed the vibes of Kelly's Heroes from 1970.
There we go. Okay, nice.
So, okay.
And who doesn't like a good heist movie? I mean,
yeah, I think the war, like that crap game, had the perfect answer. It's the perfect heist because it's behind enemy lines. So, you're not, who's going to prosecute you? By the time the war's over, that government doesn't exist anymore.
That's right. If you do it right, if you win, you got to win the war, but still.
And of course, Switzerland.
Yeah, that was the other thing they didn't really cover at the end, though, was how they got the money home. And doesn't somebody going to start?
Yeah, that was a detail.
There was clearly
to go home.
There was clearly some sort of underground thing going on because you got obviously the captain who was the Colonel or General Holt's son or nephew. Like he's clearly stealing a whole ass yacht. So like they're getting stuff home clearly, but gold
in the yacht.
The problem with gold is like no one's going to take a yacht because it's too hard. Like a gold bar, like every step of the way, someone's slipping one in their pocket. So how they get it home, they never really showed that. The logistics of getting the gold home, which I was curious about.
Who said they went home? Who said they ever went home? Maybe they just went to Switzerland.
There's a really good point.
And then they just all of a sudden there's just
go to Switzerland, open a number to count.
Kelly's Cafe Americana in downtown Paris.
Yeah.
They never that's the other part of that is then they would have been listed as AWOL.
Yeah, so you're rich.
Or KIA.
You got what, $850,000 in gold in 1940s money? You can buy as many new identities as you want with that kind of money back.
Pile that money up and sleep on it. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the logistics. I want to know how they made it work at the end. Like that's the stuff that I like about movies. And most of the time they leave you hanging because that's the boring stuff for most people.
Right.
But I think back then, though, it would be a lot easier for them to get away with it because when the war ended, there were people there were times when parents and loved ones got letters that people were KIA'd or MIA, and in reality they weren't, and they show up and people think they're dead. Because we did not have the Graves registration ability that we have today. So I think it would be very easy for them to slip out through war. Yeah. And they would just be listed as KIA if especially if they're, they were Kelly's team had radio traffic showing they were going to these certain points. So if they came missing, most people would assume, oh, they got killed on the way.
Let's also remember that it was a lot easier to sneak stuff back home in that era. I mean, I remember very clearly one of the things about Desert Shield and Desert Storm was that you will be searched before you leave this country. And if we find anything, your butt's going to Leavenworth. And I don't know how I got that chunk of Saddam Hussein's Northern Palace back here that I don't really have, but I'm telling you I have. It was not easy to get stuff out of Saudi.
So I found the way to do it is a lot of people in the rear want loot that they can say, see, I was on the front line, even though they never left Kuwait where, they had AC and coffee and stuff.
Yeah.
So if for every one thing I wanted to send, I brought something for them to lie and send home as well. And I got my documentation for my war trophies, but it was a pain in the ass paperwork wise. So it could be done. Yeah. So no, I was just thinking like the solution is, of course, we got wounded and we were taken in by locals. And by the time I was healed up and, I found my way back.
Yeah, my unit had already left the country. I had to figure out how to get home. Sorry.
Well,
and then you submit a travel voucher for it.
Not even that. Like, how many stories are there of GIs having girlfriends in Europe and then they come home and they get their wives pregnant and name their daughters after the girlfriends they left in Europe?
Well, the flip side
all over the place.
The flip side of that is there's lots of guys that came home and found that their kids that they aren't theirs from their wife that they were encouraged to just accept because the alternative would have been social incohesion. So like it went both ways.
Yeah, because
Jody was a thing even back then.
Timeless.
Yes, Jody.
Remember the movie Swing Shift?
Yeah. All right. So we talked about the overall plot. Everyone kind of enjoyed the heist. What did you guys think of the world building? Because this was a weird. Like it leaned into everybody's knowledge and love of World War II, but then it added some uniqueness with the showing the command is incompetent and the way they did it. What did everyone think of how they handled that world building?
Anybody that served knew their share of incompetent people.
Yeah, I think in many ways it hit the truth of combat. I mean, I just remembered, when I went to war, and my leadership never served in Vietnam. They never served in Korea. So we had people that had no idea how to conduct war. I mean, I was just lucky that my smoke was, he went to Vietnam, and so he knew how things work. So in a comical way, I think it really put a lot of reality that, there is a misconception that civilians think, they have stars. They have to know what they're doing because they have stars. And I truly don't feel that that's very accurate. Since, when I was overseas, I saw my share of stupidity by the higher ranks. Sending a tank platoon to go guard an oil rig. I guess we became MP, the tank police overnight. We became MPs, so crazy things like that. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's because at a certain point in time, anything after colonel, they're basically politicians with uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, staff officers are allowed to rise to their own level of incompetence. And after a while, it becomes more of how you play the game than what you actually accomplish. And we've all seen examples of that. But I think your lower officers, like your lieutenants and your captains, are the guys that, to a degree, have to have certain levels of competence to get things done. But you're always going to have screw-off NCOs. You're always going to have screw-off privates and sergeants. So, I don't know. I think it was... They may have played it up a little for laughs, but I still think there's a hard kernel of truth to a lot of that.
Okay. So the world building, like I thought they leaned into a little bit of what we knew. And then like they had the mine clearing scene with the troops moving through that open field. And Aaron and I were talking while we watched it the same day and we were like sending notes back and forth through Discord. It definitely was reminiscent of some of the scenes from Vietnam War movies. Although, like, tactics haven't changed that much when he talks about ground warfare from World War II to Vietnam. So in a sense, it worked. But the way they did some of the scene work, because it leaned into the Vietnam stuff that was also very popular at the time, they didn't have a lot of heavy lifting to do to get the world building to just feel right.
Well, we used a lot of World War II tactics in Vietnam anyway. We're always fighting the last war.
Like for me, seeing like Vietnam movies, like the way they were walking through the field, just like their body language looked like the Vietnam footage I had seen. Like, I don't know if it was intentional or not. It's just one of the things I picked up on.
Yeah. Anybody else have thoughts before we talk about the cinematography? No? All right. So what did you guys think of the cinematography of this movie, of the way the scenes were individually shot? I thought they did a good job. They'd cut away to some of the footage of like the planes, so you don't see the bombs dropping and you see the results. It was a good way to show the action, keep the comedy lightheartedness, and still meet the slightly more restrictive like censorship that happened on screen from the government. I thought they did a pretty good job of kind of showing the action, but balancing that against the limitations.
Yeah, because we're still in the era of largely bloodless combat scenes.
There's a couple of YouTube channels that make jokes about like the evolution of the death scene across the eras, and to the point where you get now where you like show the pink mist floating everywhere. But you know, in the past they would just grab their heart and like, and then they fall down.
We talked about that with Kelly's hair, with
the Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen, how we actually saw some blood and it was shocking for the era. But we all thought it was so underplayed and so underdone. But then we had to think, oh wait, yeah, this was 1967, and yeah, they did.
And also, everyone stayed relatively clean. I mean, if you don't even have to have been to war. If you've been camping, whose face is that pasty white as a white dude when you come out of the field camping?
Nobody.
But of course, it's because like LaVoice had said earlier, it was such an actor-driven movie. Right. You wanted face recognition.
You had to have that. You couldn't have him looking like bargain basement Al Jolson. You had to have them cleaned up.
Clint Eastwood still has to look like Clint Eastwood in the climax, just like in the beginning of the movie. So,
and he has to have that iconic Clint Eastwood voice.
Yep.
I liked his character though. He was the lieutenant that was scapegoated from something bad happened, so they made him a PFC. But still, everyone listened to him because they knew he was the one to keeping them alive.
Yep.
The cinematography, from my perspective, what I liked is the good mix of what they had. Is it kind of like a lot of war movies, you know, it's like 100%. Like let's take Fury, the movie Fury. It was 100% focused in the tank and the battlefield. U-boat. Oh, it's all in the sub. Where you had, you know, farmhouse, city, suburbs. You had different scene. You were seeing the whole battlefield, and it gave you a perspective of where they are versus them constantly just showing things from the Eastwood's character, only seeing that small little specter. And I liked, you know, the scenes where they showed the general in the bathroom with his stars on and things like that. I really think they did a really good job on the cinematography to make the universe seem much bigger than what just the movie was talking about.
So that whole Bedouin vibe with Oddball and his tribe.
Oh, those were gypsies with him. Those were the Romani.
Yeah, the Romani aspect was really dope because he's surrounded by all these civilians. Man, where are all these people coming from? So we'll start talking about some of the cool standout scenes. That one where he wakes up in the crap shoots supply area, and you realize that he hasn't crap game. Yeah, that's what I said. He wakes up and he just casually drops that his lieutenant is dead, but he hasn't reported him as dead, so they can keep getting his whiskey supply. Yes,
that's pretty cool.
I was like, I like the way this guy thinks. And then I started thinking, like, wait, whiskey supplies? Like, why didn't we get whiskey supplies in Iraq? We were told it was a dry country. That sucked.
Going to the cinematography, I did like towards the end of the movie when they're getting ready to attack the town. It's cutting from the bell tower to Clint Eastwood, and you can see the bell tower is in the background of Clint Eastwood's shot. So it tied the two scenes together. It didn't feel like we were on two separate sound stages and we're just cutting two random things together. Like it actually felt like I can draw a map and show you where they are. And like with like Back to Dirty Dozen, when at the beginning of the scene or the movie, it felt like it was two different shots from two different places that got put together for one scene. This one felt like it was all one scene.
Yeah. And I liked, if we're talking about, this is more just the overall parts of the show, but I like that the tactics that they used to take this town kind of made sense. It took advantage of, there's some magic of Hollywood. They had those grenades do some things that those grenades wouldn't do, but overall, like they tried
Hollywood
to factor in
grenades, man. Hollywood loves grenades.
Yeah, the fun little boomsticks, but like they got
that. Going off of that, the one thing I found funny is they make grenades explode bigger than they're supposed to, but those mortars didn't do anything when they were bombing the German town. There were mortar would go off, and the guy that was right next to it would die, but like the guy that's 5 feet from him didn't die. But you go throw the grenade, and like the whole street's gone. Like,
Mulligan was picking the wrong shells.
What was his name? Mulligan was using oddballs paint shells instead of mortar shells.
I meant to ask Alex, how accurate was the confrontation with the German tank? The differences in the firepower and the maneuverability and all. Was that legit?
Yes. I mean, the German tanks at that period of time, especially against the M4, were the far superior heavyweight of the battlefield. Mm-hmm. It was so they were very accurate on that. And I did some research about, when Oddball says, I sometimes we put a bigger thing on it to make the Germans think we have like a 105. I did some research and history is very, I found some sources that said, yes, Brits and Americans did do that on the M4 and to trick. And then I found other sources that said, oh, that never happened. It was, it was really, it was misleading because, they were trying to introduce the Firefly, which had the bigger gun. And so it was a kind of a mix of things there in the history that's not really clear on either way, but the one good thing I did find is that when a M4 Firefly came on the battlefield, which was the bigger 105 millimeter, the Tigers of that time did not want to mess with that tank because it could penetrate their frontal armor.
So, in adding to what you just said, Alex, the shenanigans and trickery happened all the time on the battlefield. We had whole battalions and divisions of tanks that were made out of rubber that they would blow up and move around. So aerial, screens would make it look like they had whole tanks that they would build out of like wood with a barrel sticking out for artillery, to the point where we dropped, because the Germans did it, we dropped a wooden bomb on their wooden fake air gun.
The Germans did it too, though. I was stationed at Giebelstadt Army Airfield in Germany for most of my tour before we went to Saudi. And Giebelstadt is famous for being Hitler's big underground facility. It had underground hangars, underground hospital, underground barracks. Everything was underground. This is where they built and tested and designed the Messerschmitt 262. And out in the fields surrounding the town, they had wooden sheep on the fields. So when the spy planes would fly overhead, it would just look like pastures and farmland and sheep. And somebody at MI5 at one point was like, "Oh, Sarge, look at this. It's flipping sheep ain't moved in like a week, mate." It's in the same spot. And so they started bombing the dog snot out of it. And that's how we figured out it was his big secret underground base. I think one of my favorite stories from Saudi was the chemical platoon, the smoke platoon that helped defeat Saddam's tanks. because we figured out real fast that they didn't have thermal sights, and our guns outdistanced theirs by a great deal. I think what about 1,000 meters, maybe? I don't remember how much it was, but we just sat back out of range, put up this big wall of smoke over here with traffic flashing lights with the covers taken off of them. The Iraqis thought we were shooting at them from over here when we're sitting back here out of range, and just started hammering them. That was wonderful. I love stuff like that.
For the record, the T-55, which they had back then, had an engagement of 1.5 kilometers. The Abrams tank, with the non-SEP version, had an engagement of 4 kilometers, and then the SEP version had a 6-kilometer range. So we outgunned them massively.
Good Lord, that's crazy. Oh, man. Outstanding.
All right, so the trickery doesn't bother me, even if they didn't do that exact thing. We did all kinds of trickery and shenanigans. We had whole units that made patches that only existed on paper because we were fooling each other with aerial, because of the limitations of aerial photography at the time. So I have zero problem with that happening. I like that they leaned on the friendly fire issue. I thought that was kind of telling. And the Americans, I mean, if you get ahead of your lines, that was a very real concern that our planes would bomb us. And there's been several documented cases of it. And if you think about, like, it's a quick millisecond decision, shoot or don't shoot, when they're flying at the speeds they're flying. I mean, like, you can't even really blame the pilots. Although you would think they'd recognize American versus German, but if the Germans were capturing a lot of American stuff and repurposing it, then that kind of makes sense if it's behind the lines we know them to be. But any other standout scenes that you really, really liked?
I did like when they roll the tank into the town and the German tanks are on, and they're using the Germans' engine noise to cover their noise. But they pull the Sherman tank up into the building and shoot the first Tiger tank in the rear, and then they do it again in the alley, because that was the only way that the Sherman could pen the armor of the Tiger tank, was to shoot it in the rear. They didn't try and oversell the capability of the M4 Sherman and have it shoot it straight on. So
well,
a little attention to detail.
Well, and they also said in the beginning when they were talking about attacking it, Oddball was very blunt. He said, they're designed for open fields, and this is a city. We're going to take advantage of their limitations. And so I had zero problem with that as well. I think that really, really worked, given what we know about the vehicles, their limitations, their advantages, and how best to employ them. You could have the strongest, coolest whiz-bang toy, but if you don't use it as it's designed, and you make it do things it wasn't supposed to, you could still lose to someone who's using their tool right, even if it's not quite as good as yours.
Yeah, I just like that attention to detail, because I feel like some war movies like to oversell what we're capable of, and you've got a piece of equipment doing something it shouldn't be able to do. And they actually stayed in reality. Like, they're still making fun of a bunch of other stuff and faking some stuff, but they're keeping some stuff 100% accurate.
Yeah. Andrew, you had something?
Excuse me. Yeah. The scene with the Shermans in the train yard. I thought that was one of my favorite scenes in the movies. Not just because Oddball's in it, but specifically because Oddball's in it. And we established that Oddball actually is, despite the fact that he's a proto-beatnik and about the positive vibes and the negative waves, when the shit hits the fan and the bullets start flying, he is a hyper competent tank commander. Pulled up to the tunnel, analyzed the situation, established the tactics, transmitted the tactics, and they rolled out. They did exactly what he told them to do, and they wrecked the place.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it showed that, hey, 3 tanks against infantry, tanks win. And then, because it's Oddball, after thoroughly wrecking the train yard and everything and everyone in it, they get on the tracks and they roll away with "I've been working on the railroad" blaring over their speaker system.
Oh, yes.
I didn't catch that little tidbit. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
and
had to go back. I rewatched it last night. I had to go back and rewind a little bit because I was like, wait a minute. Is that they are? They are playing that song.
yeah, I like that that scene also is when you start to realize that the people in the rear are hearing the radio because they're not hiding what they're doing on the radio, and so when they start talking about everything, everyone's just like, "Oh, it's code names." Right? Like we're not really robbing a bank; it's the code name that these guys are doing.
Yeah.
And that's the scene where they come on that yard where you start to see, oh, well, this is being like the people in the rear now know what's going on.
Yeah, and General Colt's listening to it and like cheering it on like he's listening to the Super Bowl.
No, it was like a baseball game.
Yeah.
And then people are interrupting him. He's like, can't you see I got the game on when the guy tried to bring him his breakfast?
Yeah.
Yes.
I also like it's not a trope. Well, maybe it's a trope. I don't know. But they pull up to the bridge, and the bridge is still there. And then they're getting ready to go, and then the bridge gets blown up. The bridges are supposed to be blown up in the middle of the night, but I've heard this army trope that like something's supposed to happen, it didn't happen, and just it happens like a couple hours late. Like,
Well, so the bridges were being destroyed during the day and rebuilt at night so the Germans could keep fighting.
All right, so I heard that part wrong then.
There's also the fact that they were that oddball had to tempt fate. The bridge is there. He says it's still up. Cue the dive bombers coming in to blow it up. No, it ain't.
And then, of course, the see your negative vibes, Moriarty. That line comes in.
I think my fault, oddball. I had nothing but good thoughts about that bridge since we left this morning.
I think a really good scene that's underrated is when Clint Eastwood walks up to the Tiger to talk to the tank commander.
Oh yeah,
and the confusion of the tank commander, and even the people got like, wait a minute, he's coming up to walking up to us, by himself, and so the tank commander gets out, and Clint Eastwood and Oddball telling the tank commander how they're not the U.S. Army, how they're a private enterprise, and seeing the gears of the German officer thinking, I think was really a really good scene that I don't think people give enough credit for.
Well, I also liked at the beginning of that scene, they're walking down the street 4 of them wide up to the tank, and it's shot like it's
a Western.
Like Western, Tombstone. You've got them coming down the road. They're not wearing spurs, but you hear the click of the spurs as they're going down the road. Like I like that little callback to the spaghetti westerns, which I'm not a big movie buff. I don't know. Did this come out before or after Clint Eastwood was famous for doing westerns?
I think after. When did Good, the Bad, and the Ugly come out?
70s.
Yeah, but which 70s?
That was 66.
This came out in 70s.
So yeah, this came out after.
After? Okay.
Yeah.
But I like that little callback Easter egg. Like, this is a Western scene. They're coming up to the tank.
Yeah.
And even Oddball like preps his holster and preps his gun so he can quick draw it if he has to.
Good and bad.
Not like a Luger's going to do jack diddly squat against a Tiger, but credit to him for being prepared.
You got to go down shooting.
Yeah.
Hey, there is a slim possibility that Luger's 9mm could penetrate the view slit that the driver is using. So it isn't zero. It's very highly unlikely that could happen, but it's not zero.
And a straight shot down the barrel, if you could make it zero, like not end up ricocheting potentially as well.
If the breech was open.
Yeah. But no, I really like that scene too. And then, of course, the Germans who he literally just slaughtered this guy's entire command. And now the dude's like, want to be rich? And then suddenly fade to him blowing the hell out of the bank door. Right. And
gears return and he's thinking about it. Hut 2, bank, exterior, front door. Boom.
I mean, they had to have known at that point that the war was over, right? And then, of course, part of the trade, they got a little extra money because, Oddball bought the Tiger tank.
Yep.
And
how did he sneak that back home?
Right, no explanation about how he snuck that through the enemy or through American lines.
It was on a pallet behind the yacht.
Or the fact that he's wearing a German.
Man.
He's wearing a German tank commander jacket, and the German tank commander is wearing an American tanker jacket.
And the Moriarty's wearing some of the uniform pieces too. So if you're in a pinch, it looks just like a German tank.
Kind of funny that they did that to me, because I remember we would do joint exercises with the Wehrmacht and the People's Army there in Germany. We would swap hats and jackets and stuff all the time, and get in a lot of trouble for it, but we still did it. But these guys were enemies.
In Iraq too.
But you also weren't shooting at each other.
Yeah, that was the thing, because that blew me away. These guys were just a few minutes ago ready to kill each other.
But it was nothing personal, man.
Nothing personal. It's just war, right?
Yeah,
feels a little personal.
$150,000 each soothes a lot of hurt feelings.
This is true. That smooths over a lot.
And that's one of the things that I think you start to see in the post-Vietnam protest movement, is you also, because they're trying to demonize the war, they're humanizing the enemy, because they can't just be dirty commies. They have to be just like us, oppressed by their government. And so you do see some of that commonality of man in that. One of the characters said, I think it was even Oddball that says it, man, they're just like us. Right. And so that concept coming across, I don't know how accurate that was at the time, because if anybody thought it, they didn't write it, because it wouldn't have been popular. But I thought that kind of worked.
Also, in 44, I think the movie was set in 44.
It was.
Like the full knowledge and the full scale of the German atrocities was not widely known.
It was not widely known. Yeah,
so,
that's true.
At that point, it like the Nazis, yeah, they were evil, but they weren't, evil like we think.
They weren't the gold standard of evil yet.
No, they were not. They were the bad guys, but they were not demons in human form.
I like that they kept the speaking of the bad guys, when he's killing the bad guys, the sniper rifle that I can't remember what Gutowski, something like that. It was a Polish name. It was using an actual rifle that existed at the time. He's using the Soviet Maus-Magant that was from the pattern 1891 version. So totally possible they cripped that.
Yeah, you would know that, JR.
Wrong front. That would have been.
I'm just like,
we're on the Western Front. That would have been on the Eastern Front. That's actually a holdover from the fact that they filmed in Yugoslavia. The whole movie was filmed in Yugoslavia, so a lot of what they used was just equipment they could, beg, borrow, rent, steal from the Yugoslav army.
So, given that we don't know, well, the rifle was old enough that
it's period appropriate, but it's not theater appropriate, is what.
Well, no, it's old enough that it could predate the war. It could have been, because it wasn't unheard of potentially for guys to bring their own personal weapons to the war with them. And since it's the 1891 pattern rifle with a scope contemporary to the period, like there's a lot of time between 1891 and 1944 to someone to buy a weapon before the war starts.
Soviets, but I'm trying to remember my Forgotten Weapons episodes. I don't think the Soviets actually.
Gun Jesus, I love him.
I don't think the Soviets actually adopted like a sniper program with those scopes until either just before World War II started or after the war. After the war had already begun.
So the Soviets didn't have to use it for the rifle to have existed in a way where the GI could get it. If you just not likely but possible.
I'll grant you that,
and that's all I was saying is it wasn't like the Saving Private Ryan where they're using a scope that doesn't exist yet. Like obviously that's not possible. This one, least
that Unerdal did exist, except the Marines used it in the Pacific. It was never issued in the European theater. I'll shut up.
No, it's fine. I watched that on the Forgotten Weapons Gun Jesus video too, so it's been a while, but the point is they at least had stuff that was plausible in this one, even if unlikely.
That's fair.
Part with that scene that I had a gripe with is I didn't recognize it was a Mosin Nagant. The issue I had with it is he pulls the trigger. You hear the bang. The reticle doesn't move. There's no recoil on that rifle.
Yeah.
He pans from one to the other, but like it never jumps up when he shoots. It just stays steady,
You
laser
can
focused.
minimize that if you have a strong pimp hand, I guess. But what I had problems with is how hesitant he was to shoot. Because he had lots of shots that he could have taken that he didn't. Which, I mean, if your job is like once the bells are going and that's your sign, why did he wait so long?
Yeah.
Was that the sign, or was the Sherman blowing the hell out of the first Tiger the sign?
No, according to the radio call said it was take out the guards under the cover of the bells.
I might have you on this one, JR.
Go for it.
When Kelly calls him on the radio, he tells them at such a time, start ringing the bells. Wait 5 minutes, then take out the guards. So
okay.
5 minutes,
okay.
But he waited way longer than the 5 minutes, and he could have shot the one guard in the back of the head and then easily got the next guy. But he waited for him to walk back away from his buddies and face him to shoot him. It's like, why not shoot them when they're all clumped together? So you don't have to move as much. But
either way,
he did tell him wait 5 minutes, so that way everyone's like, "What's going on?" And then it just keeps going. So like, whatever, something's going on. We're just gonna ignore it. So
the way we've
their
treated
threat level comes down.
Yeah, the way we've treated snipers and marksmen in Hollywood and film of the era was not great. It was considered less than honorable. So I get making them face me. At least it doesn't seem like I'm murdering someone in the back. I get that. But anyway, we're at the point where we're going to be, if we're not careful, we're going to make this review longer than the movie. So any closing thoughts?
If you haven't watched the movie, go watch it. It's really good.
Absolutely.
One of my favorites. Have watched it more than once. We'll watch it again.
Okay. Alex, any closing thoughts, sir?
Before I watch it again.
It was an amazing movie. It's one of those movies, where you get that meme, like, what's a movie you can always watch and always enjoy? This is one of them. I think it is a wonderful storytelling, great cinematography. I mean, and, based on what movie technology was back then, I think they've done an amazing job. And, and the cast, I think the closest thing to having a cast like that is that Stallone movie where he gathers like Chuck Norris and Jet Li.
Expendables.
Yeah, that's that's the most modern movie I can think of that had such an outstanding cast in one show. So yes,
Red 1 and 2 did as well.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, I forgot about them. Yep.
Okay.
Add those to the list as well.
But it was, just remember, it was in 70 millimeter full stereophonic sound. So that's the important takeaway.
That's right.
Yep.
The IMAX of its day.
So anybody else have closing thoughts? Clothing thoughts. Closing thoughts.
Clothing thoughts, JR. What are you wearing?
A bathrobe, of course, with my sergeant stripes on it.
With your sergeant stripes on
it.
All right.
Did we have to go there?
I mean, it's a cool
he didn't
bathrobe,
say what
though.
he had on under it. What is your problem?
Okay. All right. So this is the part, dear listener, where I remind you to please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platforms. Your reviews help the right readers find the right books. So do your part. It really does make a difference, people. And with that, Aaron, if we wanted to watch you fish and maybe or maybe not have people on the pier that shouldn't be there, where might we find you on the Wild interwebs?
JR.
Bigwater_outdoors on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and the TikTok.
All right. Have you been, since you've started filming and stuff, have you ever been capsized by the wakes?
Not since I started filming. I have fallen out once before I started filming, and that was not. It's not a fun time. Do not recommend.
0 stars. I got it. How long did it take you to perfect your camera setup?
Well, it's constantly evolving. I started out with just the camera on my head, and then I got the first pole, and I stuck it in front of me, and then I stuck it behind me, and then now I've got 2 of them. So actually, that video where you see I have 2 cameras, comes out on the 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you guys want to watch that one, you'll see we have 2 camera angles. So you get to see where I'm going and then the fish up close.
Cool. All right, Alex, if we wanted to track you down on the wild, wild interwebs, where might we find you as usual? Links will be in the show notes.
Okay. Well, my most active site in order of most active sites. The first place you can find me on Facebook under the Imperial Command. That's my fan book page. Very active there. There's a lot of interesting goodies that my fan base who participate there see and hear about my books. You can get me on my YouTube channel at Imperial Information Network, where I have I interact with a lot of my fan base that do documentaries about certain races and characters, videos up there. So that's another good place. And then of course you can always my website millsci-fi.com, and there is a contact page in there, and you can communicate to me there, and of course buy my books as well.
Okay, and next we have Andrew, first time guest of the show. Definitely not going to be the last. We're going to do some more movie reviews. Hopefully, you won't be sick. But how can we find you on the Wild?
More celebrity impersonations.
Yes, with positive vibes, man.
Oh, God have mercy on us if I have to do that. Nobody. I have many impersonations. Well, few impersonations, all of them bad. If you want to find me on the internet, on the rare occasions I actually remember, oh hey, I have social media, I should update it. You can find me on Facebook as Andrew S. Milbourne, on X, aka the platform formerly known as Twitter, and on Substack as @WriterMilbourne, all one word. Instagram, it's just my personal account that I occasionally post on. It's Jedi_Raptor07, and my Amazon shop, Andrew Milbourne, or Amazon author page, I should say, Andrew Milbourne.
So you're a force-sensitive lizard?
Something like that.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of lizards, our favorite lot lizard, Mr. LaVoice.
It's lounge lizard. Get it straight.
Oh, I'm sorry, because you have the bathrobe.
Well, no, because I do karaoke.
Truck stops.
Yeah. So karaoke at Liberty Con and other places.
Do you have a leisure shoot?
No, not since I was like 11. Anyway, but they were in style then, 70s. I'm old. So, you can find me at my website, michaellavoice.com. You can find me on YouTube at LaVoice in Your Head. Same handle over on the TikTok. So, and you can find my books, Gladius Leagues and Galaxy's Most Wanted, and all my anthologies that I'm in over on Amazon.
All right. And you can find us, dear listener, on our Linktree, linktr.ee, Linktree/Blasters and Blaze Podcast. Again, Linktree/Blasters and Blaze Podcast, where we linked all the things, the BitChute, the Rumble, the YouTube, the TikTok, the Twitter. We've got our Spotify, our Discord, our Substack, our Blasters and Blaze Facebook page and Facebook group. You can email the show at blastersandblazepodcast@gmail.com. Again, Blasters and Blaze Podcast @gmail.com. For professional purposes only, people. Save the shenanigans from Adam Stabby's tab over there on the Instagram, the Twitter, and the email. You can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Again, buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Be sure to plug the comment section. This is for the podcast, and I promise I will keep my co-hosts duly caffeinated. They will drink that coffee brand coffee till they get high on their own supply. If you want some of that coffee brand coffee, the link is in the show notes. The discount code is Podcast Grunts. You get 10% off. We get a little bit of a kickback. It's a win-win, people. And with that, I would like to thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. For my crazy co-host, I am J.R. Handley, and this was the Blasters and Blades Podcast. We'll be back next week at the same time, where we'll indulge our love of nerd culture, cheesy jokes, and all things that go boom. All right, thank you all for coming on. We look forward to having you all back. And with that, we're going to hit the end button. Don't cuss yet, LaVoice. Wait.